Hello and welcome to the channel both feared and revered by man and beast, the heliosblog. Today, Andrew Tate is interviewed by Candace Owens. My, let's see what we have here.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
My mom hated that she did that to me. But yeah, I can give him nothing but praise. I'm really so thankful I had the upbringing I had.
Do you think he's proud of you?
I'm certain he's proud of me. And it's amazing how much strength I can get from that. It's amazing how much strength you can get from knowing that your ancestors looking down on you and you're doing your absolute best. I also believe that God can be proud of you when you do your absolute best. And I don't think many people genuinely do their best in the world anymore. When I say do your best, people sit and go, oh yeah, okay. No, when's the last time you actually did your best? Like, I don't train to run marathons, but I know if I gave my best, I could run a marathon right now, first try. If I gave my best, life depending on it. When's the last time people have genuinely given their best to anything? There are people going through the world and going through life today that don't give their best or 100% effort to anything ever. Ever. They can't remember the last time they tried. So when I'm sitting in a dungeon, I'm sitting in a Romanian jail cell, I understand that it is a chance that God has given me and my ancestors are watching for me to do my absolute best and to show to them that I am the man I say I am. You can't become the most famous man in the world for mental resilience and God not test your mental resilience. I think
Exactly. That would be hubris, indeed.
that would be a very amateur way to view the world, that you can now become one of the most famous men in the world who talks about mental discipline and mental resilience and God's not going to test it. I think God's going to come along and say, okay, you want to be Mr. Famous. All right, let's see what you have. So I believed it was a chance to show God and show my ancestors and show my father that I am the man I say I am. And it's amazing how much strength you can draw from that, because I don't think many men especially understand that even if you don't have the strength to be a hero for yourself, you should have enough discipline and enough honor to want to be a hero for somebody else. And if you have other people.
That is a very powerful statement. I don't have the strength to be the hero for myself, but I will be your hero. That's a very powerful thought.
Who you truly respect, you should want to be a hero for them. And I think that's the masculine imperative. If someone's going to attack your wife, that's when you become a hero for her. You have to. What kind of man are you if you're not? And you can apply that to other things. If you apply that to your ancestors, or you apply that to God, or you apply that to your beliefs or your core principles as a man, then you can be a hero anytime you want. So
It's so funny that you say that, because it really does. Everything goes back to biology. I think about this all the time, no matter how much sociology is behind everything, telling men to act like women and women to act like men. At the end of the day, women want a masculine man. And when they don't have a masculine man and they beat their man into submission, they're not attracted to them anymore. When it's a tail in between.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just not attractive anymore. And I used to maybe think of this boyfriend that I had when you were talking about, just defending the realm, this sort of responsibility that men have. And I remember sitting there realizing that I had to break up with him, because I thought that if somebody burst through the door with a gun, I was going to have to be the one that would have to defend us, because he was just such a flower.
100%.
And it's in society is yet blaring at men to do the opposite. And I
Well, they're trying.
Yeah, you're no, just be yourself, No, don't learn to defend yourself. Don't be strong. Don't be, no. Just be yourself. Masculinity is fluid, and so on. What could possibly go wrong? Barbarians at the gates.
Trying to confuse us.
This is why I think you have a platform. This is my whole theory that I built in my head about why you have a platform, is because Lena Dunham came before you, right? And I think that for years, men were told to act like sissies.
Yep.
Men were told to put your tail between your legs. That was the message, the agreed upon message that came with, Hillary Clinton running, the Me Too, all of these things where men were basically told that if you have a masculine instinct, you're guilty.
Yep.
And then inevitably, because there is an equilibrium in this world, because there was Lena Dunhams, because there were the Taylor Swifts, because there was the girl squads, eventually what would have to happen was that it was going to have to be evened out by someone saying, no, F that, be a man.
Yeah, and I don't feel guilty for being a man, and I don't think any man should.
No, I don't think so either.
And I think that the most annoying thing about all of this is just how genuinely hypocritical it is. Because there's all this feminine movement, and we don't need men, and men don't matter, etc. That's
Music
only
too many. The whole, it's a agreed upon message that men suck.
Absolutely.
Indeed. And not only this, there's an agreed upon message that men are to be lied to about what they need to be. Men are told that men are women, right? That women can lead, that women are supposed to be in charge, that men should bow down to them and you know, kowtow to what they want. And they should have no thought of themselves or what it is that they want. And obviously that's idiotic, and obviously that won't work, because the man is the leader of the relationship. So if men don't know this, and they don't build themselves up to be that, then they'll be miserable. And they won't even understand why. That's the thing.
And it's only in the most favorable possible circumstances where females will say that. And that's what's so disingenuous about it, because as soon as things actually begin to get hard, the closer we get to the realities of life, the closer we get to the unfortunate.
If we had to live in a log cabin in the woods, not a single woman would be cutting down a tree. They'd be like, oh, okay, I'm going to be in the house. I'll cook the food. You go kill the animals. You go cut down the trees. You go make sure that we live. That's what would happen. And yeah, and what girls usually do to reply to that statement, to that, you know, that thinking is, yeah, but how about you? Could you go out and cut the tree? Could you go out and hunt the animals? Could you make sure that I will live? Yes, I could do that. I could. If it was required of me to go and ensure your safety, your survival, your life, I could do it. And that's the thing about men. You need to know that you could do it. And not only know, you need to be prepared. Who knows what the future holds? Perhaps the future holds chaos and death, and we'll need to stand against the tide. Perhaps. And what will happen should you not be ready?
Fortunate circumstances of the world, and they exist in many places, the faster you'll see people look for traditional masculinity to protect them.
That's right.
So it's not even like it's a genuine belief. That's what's so upsetting about it, is that it's just, I don't know if these people are delusional or if they're deliberately hypocritical. I'm not sure.
Both, probably.
Which one it is.
I think they're brainwashed. I think it's a two-prong approach. I think it's the cultural messaging, and also in the education system, they're actively learning that.
Most people do not have the mental fortitude to be able to hear something told to them that this is reality and to then question it. Most people do not have the mental fortitude. Most people, when they're told this is reality, what they say is, okay. And that's the extent of it. They legitimately believe the lies. That's the problem. And why would that be a problem? Because that's how you create an angry mob. When people are brainwashed to believe that the truths of the world are lies, then you have the modern world. You have 2023. Population is weak. What a surprise. They don't know reality. That's why they're weak.
This feminism is what you need to aspire towards. Like when you get out of school, women, you should want to compete with men in climbing the corporate ladder.
Right, yeah.
I actually think there's a mass brainwash that's taking place.
Oh, completely. They want to
for
neuter
sure.
men. And the way you do that is you empower women to a point where they're now the dominant power, especially in the Western world. I believe we live in a matriarchy.
Indeed.
I don't believe it's a patriarchy like we're told it is. I actually believe it's the other way around.
It's the other way
I
around.
can't think of a single law that benefits men over women, but I can certainly think of some that benefit women over men. I think it's very dangerous to be a man in the world today. I think that if women want to destroy a man, it's extremely easy to do. We can look at my current scenario and situation I'm in, and many other men are in the same scenario. I can't think of many examples of a man falsely accusing a woman of something and her losing her entire life, where I can certainly think of ones the other way around. So, yeah, they want to turn men into eunuchs because their intention is to make us all slaves. And I
think
say
so
that,
too.
and people, it rolls off my tongue, and people just hear it, and they don't actually think about what I'm saying. Their intention is to turn men into eunuchs because they want to make us all slaves. I want you to actually understand exactly what I'm saying to you, because at the bottom line of revolution has always been young military-age males, and they don't want them to have enough balls or enough forward thinking or even enough care for anything outside of themselves to do something about it.
Absolutely. That is absolutely true. What is the most dangerous thing in the world? You might think that it's weapons, but no, that is not the most dangerous thing. The most dangerous thing is an idea. Knowledge is the most dangerous thing. Because if you don't even know what your enemy is, how can you attack it? With those famed weapons of yours. There is no enemy because you don't know what it is, because it's been trained out of you. You're so brainwashed. We are so brainwashed as men, we don't even know that we're brainwashed. That's the thing, guys. They destroy a man that says things like, exercise regularly, don't be a loser, learn to fight, be strong, work on yourself, and protect your woman and your family and have children. That's apparently a demonic message. Horrible. Throw him in a metal box. Think about that.
The thing people don't understand is that a lot of these attacks and a lot of things they're trying to do with the culture, especially, they're trying to inject such innate selfishness inside of people that they don't really care about anything that happens outside of themselves. Because then it's very difficult to give a shit about your community. It's very difficult to have any kind of genuine care about your town or your country or an issue. No, they just want you to be self-absorbed, semi-depressed, because depressed people don't fight that hard, watching porn, living inside of your own mind, convinced that somehow you're oppressed for some reason, on the internet typing tweets. That's what they want you to do. And they're going to try and keep you there. And genuine masculinity, yeah, to a degree it's protective, and to a degree also it has parameters. You can't be a man who doesn't say no. You can't be a man who doesn't have standards for himself and for people around him. I'm got labeled as ultra misogynistic because I believe that a man should have standards in his relationship. I believe a man should avoid dishonest people, male and female.
Absolutely.
You should avoid, if you're a dishonest person, if you lie, if you're going to deceive me, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. I don't want to have anything to do with you. Right. I was sitting talking on a panel show saying that women who are dishonest and promiscuous are not the kind of woman I'd ever want to associate with. And I was labeled misogynistic for that. So
it's horrible. How dare you have standards? You're a male. Males can't have standards. Only women can have standards. How dare you have the audacity to say that? That's the point. That's the point.
It's crazy how they'll attack you, and they'll attack you so violently and so endlessly and repeat it so many times in a bid to beat your soul down. That's what they want, especially from me.
Right.
I truly believe I'm the #1 prize for them to get. If they can get me to just give up. If we can get Andrew Tate to just give up. Being a man's bad. Come on, Andrew, say it. And it's like,
he is going to become a martyr at this point. He's never going to say it. Socrates, you're corrupting the youth. Stop it. Okay. I mean, I refuse. Drink this hemlock then. Okay? If that's what you need. But I will never say that women are superior to men and that women should rule relationships. I will never say that men are worthless or men are evil just for being men. I will never say that the way that society is structured right now in 2023 is the best way, or is the way that it should be, or it's the way that it has always been. It has not. This is a social experiment gone wrong. And until we go back to the old system, every person is going to suffer. Like you see in 2023. Modern misery. And for what?
It's dangerous, one thing, but it's actually genuinely also sad. When I analyze the situation in the world we're in today, part of me feels sad that we've ended up in this place where the people who are in charge are so evil and their plans are so heinous and the consequences so dire that they know they can only implement them if they genuinely remove the warrior spirit from every man on the planet.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
And the warrior spirit is really important. And it's something that I speak about a lot, that men need to go be men. Even in the capacity of my marriage, my husband needs his guy time. I need my girl time.
Yep.
The masculine and feminine, it's very important. The fact that my husband hunts and shoots and does these things, that's very attractive to me.
Yep.
To know that if the grocery store is faded away, that he could go catch dinner.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That he knows how to skin an animal.
Absolutely.
And they poison that. Look at the hunters. Look at the way they view hunters. They look at people in the South.
Yep.
This is why they know how to ranch. They know how to farm. They know how to survive on their own, which is why they start to poison that mentality, which is why I think it's really important that you're speaking to young men about why it is okay to be a man, giving them permission to be a man in a capacity that I can't give them that permission. In the same way that I try to give women the position to know that don't allow them to delude you to believing that this is femininity. It is not femininity.
It's not femininity to attack your man. It's not femininity to tell him what to do. It's not femininity to command him, to be in charge, to be the main breadwinner. It's not femininity. It's not femininity to have long nails and long eyelashes. It's not femininity to have an end count of 50 plus as a girl. It's not femininity.
Lena, to have your husband offer your body to another man on camera. That's the poisoning. They teach women that this is sexual freedom, that this is sexual liberation.
Yeah.
I looked at that and I saw a slave relationship.
Indeed.
I saw a master offering his slave to another person because he was just so, I just love Andrew Tate. Would you like to see with my wife? I would be okay with that. That is horrific. That is not femininity. That is not masculinity.
Correct. I absolutely agree with you on that point. You're totally right there. And I think that's probably one of the most misogynistic things that have happened on the internet in recent times, but perhaps they're on the right side of the political spectrum. I don't know which side they're on, but if they're on the correct side, you seem to get away with things.
As you all know, faith is an essential part of my life.
Nope. No ads.
Masculinity as a whole that I don't think that a lot of people want to address, but it's something that's certainly large in terms of my following. Because if we break down, if anyone's watching this now and they're trying to understand why is Andrew Tate so popular? Well, I believe I speak to the base instincts of
base instincts.
Base instincts.
That's right.
And one of the base instincts also for men, I don't think a lot of people understand, is to a degree is peacocking and showing off to a degree. And I do that fantastically. But it is. And if you look at men of old and they used to conquer and they'd wear a feather from the man they killed or a piece of gold they stole. There was always that degree of flexing, showing off. And I think it's being unapologetically masculine and saying, yeah, I'm a big, successful man and I can afford all this stuff and this is who I am and I've worked my ass off and this is what I have and I'm not sorry about it and I'm dedicated and I'm hardworking and no, I'm not. I don't feel like I should have to cower or hide or apologize to the world for any of these things. And I think that's the reason why a lot of men find affinity in my message. And you're right. Baseline masculinity is being attacked, and women naturally don't find it attractive to find a man who's not that way anyway. But baseline masculinity is being attacked because they want you absolutely not dependent on the government, so that the government can decide whether you eat that day. And I don't want to be a pessimist, but I still think in many ways, almost with technological advances, it's going to be very difficult to resist. I think it's actually scary. I don't know how the world's going to be in 100 years from now, but I don't know if there's going to be much freedom left. I don't know about.
I'm inclined to agree. I think it's being eroded away. And the problem is we live in a globalized society. So the more wealth is in a place, the more control there is. So what might actually happen, this is possible. What might happen is we will see a mass exodus of men from the West. They will leave to other countries. They'll escape the control and go to other places. They won't be in the West anymore because the West exerts too much control. And so all that will be left in the West is NPCs and the government and brainwashed women. It's possible.
About you, but when I look at the things they're doing with CBDCs and electric cars and the way the currency is going to change, it's going to be very difficult to resist without literally starving to death. So I don't know what's going to come. So
learn to farm.
Learn to farm.
Hunt,
that's
learn
right.
To shoot. Don't let them convince you that's somehow racist and sexist and backwards and veganism. Like, you better learn to do all of those things because
we need men now more than ever, right?
Yeah.
And also I do believe, and this is going to get me called misogynistic, but I'm going to say it anyway. I do believe we need masculinity, especially in the households, because I believe that women are more emotionally led and men are more logically led.
It's true.
And I think that the propaganda machine and the news machine primarily uses emotional arguments as opposed to logical arguments.
And women fall for the emotional
fall for the emotional arguments. So if you have a woman who's in charge of the household and her man can't resist her commands, and they put on the news, be afraid, COVID's going to kill everybody. She gets afraid. Now you have a whole household of people with masks on, 8 vaccines, and down the insanity hole. Whereas a man with logic would sit there and do exactly what I did and say, look, all right, let's calm down for 2 minutes. Let's just wait because the news lies. So let's just wait till Wednesday before we start taking injections. Let's chill. So I think also masculinity is needed because what they're going to do when they try and make us all slaves, they're going to use emotional arguments. And they're going to come along with, I was talking about COVID with someone the other day, and we were saying how insane it all was. And I said, imagine how insane something like COVID will be once the police force are robotic. Imagine once it's all AI. No mask, done. Like, at least in certain countries, and I know because I traveled the entire world during COVID, I'll say here publicly on the internet, I broke every single COVID rule. I broke every single lockdown restriction. I broke all of them. Every single one. Never listened to any of them.
I broke more.
It's a competition.
Yeah, so if it's a competition, I broke more.
You sure?
And from day one, I was like, absolutely not. I didn't even let people that were wearing masks into my house. I was like, my baby will not look up and see somebody wearing a mask in his crib. That's scary.
Yeah.
Looking like Bane looking over his crib. Like, that's just not happening.
Amazing. But yeah, I mean, me and my brother, we moved to Sweden. We resist the COVID thing from the absolute beginning. We tried our best because Sweden was completely wide open. Absolute insanity. But yeah, even the COVID thing, if you look at it, the emotional argument that was used and how they controlled the world, and they're going to use emotional arguments to control us with everything. I talk about the police force being AI. What they're going to eventually do is say, cops shoot people, humans make mistakes, cops are racist. We're going to give you robot cops that never make mistakes because cops are racist and cops can make mistakes, but these robots never make mistakes ever. And then
yeah, and then whoever controls the robots controls you because they're not capable of independent thought.
once all the police force are completely robotic and they've removed all our weapons, you think something like COVID 2.0 isn't coming? You think you're not going to be locked in your house? You think they're just going to, what, let you live in peace and walk around outside? Are you an idiot? And they're going to do all of this with emotional arguments. They're not
That's
going to
why
do
they
it with
want a
logic.
matriarchy.
Absolutely.
It's literally like Animal Farm. Literally like 1984. If you've never read the book, 2023 by George Orwell, if you've never read it. Yeah.
Absolutely, because with a matriarchy, you can affect it with emotionality. You can sit there and say, the planet is dying. Don't you care about the trees? Give us all your money. And people will sit there and go, oh, yeah, I do feel bad about the planet. Okay, it's just an extra 18% tax. And they can fall for it. So emotional arguments are how you get your way with anything. If you give me somebody, if you put somebody in front of me, I can convince with an emotional argument. I can convince them almost anything. Almost anything.
Yes, right. And this is why men should be the leaders, because men go off of logic and reason.
Logic is much harder to do. So we need masculinity even in the household. And I'm just talking about baseline masculinity of just the logic and the rock solid self-assurance to sit there and say, no, I'm in charge of this house. Let's all just calm down. Let's not get emotionally led by this news channel. And let's be very smart about what we do and how we react to things. And that's why it's under attack. And I think I talk about revolutions and I talk about men being the military age males who are going to eventually stand up, etc. But I'm not be doomsdays about anything. I don't want to get arrested for any accusations. But even just having a masculine essence in a household makes the whole household harder to psyop. I truly believe that.
True.
And I can just think of COVID, and I use it as an example because it's the most recent large psyop they've attempted on us, where the amount of people I saved personally, I must have saved 200 people's lives from that vaccine. Me personally, just because me as a man, they'd come to me and go, you know, I want to travel. And I'd say, listen, I don't even have time to explain to you, but have I ever been wrong? No, don't get it. Okay. A year later, they're like, I'm so glad I didn't get that. I'm like, I told you. Like, it's amazing, like what a masculine essence can do. So that's another reason it's under attack, because if they can remove the masculine essence from society, well, now you have a society. Imagine a society where you can control purely with emotional arguments. We're almost there.
We're basically there today in 2023. It's illegal for you to say what Andrew's saying. I mean, it's not illegal, but you get what I'm saying. It's, you know, bad man.
are in a matriarchy, and this is why they accuse me of being an internalized misogynist, because I'm able to think through and acknowledge the flaws of what happens in society when women get power. And if you want to know what happens, look around you.
Indeed.
Women fall for emotional arguments the entire time. Show us a commercial, show us. It's so sad. And before they get to the rational aspects of it, they're already invested emotionally. And I think that virtually every societal ill that we are facing today is because of women. And I think the greatest recent example of that is the Bud Light controversy, because
it's emotional arguments. And if we also analyze, I mean, there's certain things that women can do so much better than men. I said this the other day. I was saying to my brother had his daughter here and my niece was here. And I said, isn't it amazing? I found this amazing. I said, isn't it amazing the patience a mother has with a toddler?
Indeed.
I'm like, she's been listening to Peppa Pig for 4 hours. I would lose my mind. I couldn't do it. I simply couldn't do it. So women have this emotionality, which is so fantastic when it's properly used, when it's put into place it's supposed to be. I would never drop my child off to a daycare full of men. Would you drop your 3-year-old child to a daycare run exclusively by males?
No.
It'd be weird. It's just something about it is weird. I wouldn't trust the men not to lose their temper with the kid. I wouldn't understand why all these men want to be around these children all day. It would be a very weird scenario. So we all understand innately our gender roles, innately on some level. So women have a fantastic superpower when it's properly used. But like everything on earth, if you have a superpower or any kind of power at all and it's put in the wrong direction, it can be destructive. Water, if it's going through a dam, can power a city. If it's not going through a dam, it's a flood. So we have all this emotionality put in the wrong direction, and now they're in positions of power or whatever, or they're controlling the culture, or they're controlling how.
Exactly. Very well stated, Andrew. Extremely well stated. All right. Let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all the notifications. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian Altoma, and Bobby. Shout out to you, most recent Patreon subscriber. Go buy books at bit.ly/heliosblog. Shout outs to Curry Kid, most recent purchaser of Strategist Guide to Seduction. Thank you. And of course, take care of yourselves, guys. Thank you for watching to the end. And I'll see you next time.